Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, get comfortable, because today we're doing a complete deep dive into a vehicle that's already got the luxury SUV world talking, the Audi Q9 2027. By the end of this video, you'll have a full and honest understanding of this car, from its exterior design and interior craftsmanship to its technology, performance, real-world driving experience, practicality, pricing, and exactly how it stacks up against its biggest rival. We're going to cover the strengths, the weaknesses, and everything in between. So stay with me until the end, because what happens in the final few minutes might completely change how you see this car. Picture two heavyweight boxers stepping into a ring. One has dominated this weight class for over a decade, wearing the belt with quiet confidence. The other is new, hungry, backed by a brand that's been sharpening its claws in the shadows, waiting for exactly this moment. That's the story of the Audi Q9 2027. Because for years, the full-size luxury SUV throne has belonged almost unquestionably to one name: the BMW X7. Spacious, commanding, endlessly capable. But Audi didn't build the Q9 to sit quietly in its shadow. They built it to fight. And tonight, we're putting these two in the ring, round by round, to find out if there's a new champion in town. Round one is design, and this is where first impressions are won or lost. The Q9 doesn't just look big, it looks intentional, like every panel was sculpted with a purpose rather than just space. The front end carries Audi's boldest grille yet, flanked by razor-thin lighting signatures that seem to cut through the night rather than just illuminate it. Step around the side and the proportions feel almost architectural, long and low despite its size, which is no small trick for a vehicle this large. The X7, in comparison, plays a different game entirely. It's imposing, upright, almost regal, built to announce its presence rather than sneak up on you. Where the Audi whispers confidence, the BMW shouts it. It's genuinely close, but the Q9 edges this round on sheer modernity. It simply feels like it was designed 5 years ahead of its rival. Round two moves us inside. And this is where things get personal, because an interior isn't something you glance at. It's something you live in every single day. Slide into the Q9's cabin, and the first thing that hits you is the material quality. Soft touch surfaces wherever your hands naturally land, stitching that looks like it was done by hand rather than machine, and a sense of quiet that feels almost engineered on purpose. Space in the second and third row is generous enough that this genuinely works as a 7-seat family hauler rather than a 5+2 compromise. The X7 counters with its own trump card, a slightly more commanding seating position, and a third row that's long been considered class-leading for adult comfort. Here's where the underdog lands a real punch. In pure third-row legroom, the BMW actually wins. No exaggeration, no spin, real families with real teenagers will notice it on long trips. It's a rare moment where the challenger draws blood. Round three is technology. And honestly, this is where the Q9 starts to separate itself from the pack. The dashboard is dominated by a curved digital display that blends the driver's cluster and infotainment into one seamless piece of glass, controlled through a mix of touch, voice, and gesture that actually responds the way you'd expect in 2027, not like clunky tech bolted on as an afterthought. The voice assistant understands natural conversation, not rigid commands, so you can simply say you're cold instead of hunting through menus. The BMW system remains genuinely excellent, refined over years of updates. But there's a sense here that Audi built its system from scratch for this exact moment, while BMW is still polishing something older. On raw innovation, this round clearly goes to the Q9. Round four is safety, and neither of these vehicles cuts corners here. The Q9 comes loaded with adaptive cruise that reads traffic patterns almost predictively, lane centering that feels natural rather than nervous, and a 360-degree camera system sharp enough to make tight parking garages feel almost effortless in a vehicle this size. The X7 matches most of this feature for feature, because at this price point, neither brand can afford to fall behind. It's a near draw, But the Q9 systems feel slightly more confident in real-world unpredictability, like stop-and-go traffic or sudden lane changes from other drivers, so we'll call this round a narrow win for Audi. Round 5. And this is the one everyone's really here for: performance and driving experience. Under the hood, the Q9 offers a genuinely potent range of engines, topped by a plug-in hybrid variant that blends silent electric torque with a gutsy combustion punch when you actually need it. Put your foot down and there's no hesitation, no lag, just an immediate, controlled surge that feels almost unfair for something this large. Push it into a corner and air suspension works overtime to keep body roll in check, masking its weight in a way that genuinely surprises first-time passengers. The BMW X7 has long been praised for a rear-biased chassis feel that makes it drive smaller than it is, more playful, more engaging when you're alone, and pushing a little harder than you probably should. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. In pure driving engagement, on a winding back road with nobody else around, the X7 still edges it out. The Audi is composed, confident, brilliant in nearly every scenario. But the BMW has a spark of old-school driving joy that Audi hasn't quite matched yet. The champion holds its ground in the one category that matters most to purists. Round 6 is ownership and practicality, the stuff that matters long after the test drive ends. Cargo space in the Q9 is enormous, boot capacity that swallows luggage for a full family holiday without folding a single seat, and towing capability that puts it firmly in genuinely useful territory, not just showroom bragging rights. Running costs, particularly with the plug-in hybrid variant, look noticeably better on paper than the X7's thirstier 6- and 8-cylinder options. And then there's pricing, because value matters just as much as prestige. The Q9 undercuts the X7 by a meaningful margin while offering comparable, and in some areas superior, technology and efficiency. For buyers who felt priced out of this segment before, that gap actually matters. So after 6 rounds, where does this leave us? The X7 draws blood in third-row space and outright driving joy, proving its decade of dominance wasn't built on marketing alone. But the Q9 answers back with sharper design, smarter technology, stronger efficiency, and a genuinely more attractive price tag. When you tally it all up, this isn't a knockout, it's a split decision. But the judges lean toward the challenger. The Audi Q9 2027 doesn't just compete with the segment leader, it forces it to defend its title, and that alone tells you everything about where this rivalry is headed next. So that's the full story of the Audi Q9 2027. Exterior to interior, technology to performance, strengths, weaknesses, pricing, and how it truly measures up against the reigning champion. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe if you want to be here for the next showdown, because this rivalry is far from over. And down in the comments, I want to know, are you Team Audi or Team BMW? Let's settle it down there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.